Adrian Cole had always believed that money could fix everything. As one of the youngest self-made millionaires in the city, his life revolved around meetings, deadlines, profit graphs, and boardroom wars that never seemed to end. His mansion was enormous, echoing with silence, filled with luxury but painfully empty. His wife had passed away 2 years ago, leaving behind only one thing that mattered, their infant son, Liam. Since her death, Adrian threw himself into work, trying to bury the grief in spreadsheets and numbers. The only constant warmth in the house came from the nanny he had hired 6 months ago, a quiet, gentle young woman named Elena. She was not like the others he had hired before. Most nannies came for the salary or the prestige of working in a millionaire's mansion, but Elena came with a softness in her voice, a kindness that was not part of any job description. She treated Liam not like a duty, but like a blessing. She hummed lullabies, kissed his forehead when no one was watching, and held him with a warmth that reminded Adrian painfully of the love his late wife once gave. Tonight, Adrian returned from yet another exhausting business trip, 3 days away from home, 3 days away from Liam, and 3 days away from the one place where his heart could actually breathe. The mansion was quiet, too quiet. He stepped inside expecting to hear the usual noises, the soft chatter of Elena singing, the clinking of bottles, the faint sound of children's songs. But nothing. Only silence. His heart tightened. He dropped his keys, loosened his tie, and walked across the polished floor, the weight of fatherhood suddenly heavier than the weight of his business empire. As he entered the living room, the golden evening sunlight spilled through the huge glass windows, illuminating a sight that stopped him dead in his tracks. On the rug, near the center of the room, Elena lay on the floor, curled protectively around Liam. The baby, wrapped in a soft blue blanket, slept peacefully on her arm while her own head rested on a small pillow, her hair slightly messy from exhaustion. The scene struck him with a tenderness he wasn't prepared for. She wasn't on the couch, she wasn't in the guest room, she wasn't even using the luxurious nursery chair. She was on the floor. On the hard floor. As if staying any farther from the child felt wrong to her. A bottle was placed beside them, half full, as if she had been feeding him moments before falling asleep. Adrian's breath trembled. In all the time he had hired help, he had never seen anyone show this level of devotion. Not for him. Not for his wealth. Not because they were paid. This was real. Genuine. Pure. Elena didn't hear him enter. Her soft breathing matched the baby's in a rhythm that somehow melted years of loneliness inside him. He didn't know why, but his chest tightened with an emotion he hadn't felt since his wife's last heartbeat, love. Not romantic love, not yet. But the beginning of something powerful, something that shook him. The kind of love that comes from seeing someone care so deeply for what you treasure most. He felt his hands tremble slightly as he stepped closer, his briefcase almost slipping from his fingers. The room smelled faintly of baby lotion, warm milk, and lavender, the scent of home, something he had forgotten existed. He knelt down quietly, staring at the two of them. Elena's arm was wrapped around Liam like an instinctive shield. Even in sleep, her fingers held the blanket where it touched his tiny body. Adrian noticed tiny scratches on her hand, signs of late-night diaper changes and hours of carrying a restless baby. He noticed the slight dark circles under her eyes, marks of sleepless devotion. She hadn't taken care of his child as a job. She had taken care of him as if he were hers. His throat tightened painfully. He remembered hiring nannies who complained about long hours, who left the moment their shift ended, who refused to hold the baby when he cried too much. Elena, meanwhile, had fallen asleep on the ground, without even a blanket for herself, because Liam had needed her. Adrian suddenly felt inferior. He was the father, yet she was the one giving the child the love he couldn't. Slowly, softly, Elena began to stir awake. Her eyes opened, confused at first, until she saw Adrian kneeling beside her. She jerked up slightly, embarrassed. I'm so sorry, sir," she whispered, brushing her hair back. "I didn't realize I fell asleep. Liam was crying earlier. I held him until he calmed down and—" "I must have, you don't need to explain," Adrian said, his voice a low whisper, softer than she had ever heard. He wasn't angry. He wasn't disappointed. If anything, he was overwhelmed by gratitude. Elena looked down, cheeks flushed. I should have put him in the crib. No, he shook his head, his voice firm but warm. You did exactly what he needed. Their eyes met. For the first time, Elena saw something in his gaze she never expected: admiration. Respect. And something deeper, something unspoken. You take care of him better than anyone ever has, Adrian said quietly. Better than I do, sometimes. Elena froze. Her lips parted slightly, as if she wanted to disagree but couldn't find the words. He loves you, Adrian added, glancing at Liam. He looks at you the way he used to look at his mother. Elena's eyes glistened. She lowered her gaze, touched and emotional. I care about him. A lot. Adrian knew. He could see it. He could feel it. The room suddenly felt warmer, more intimate, as if the universe had paused to let something new begin. He watched her stroke Liam's tiny fingers gently. Her hands were trembling, perhaps out of nervousness, but her touch was steady, loving. Adrian's heart thudded heavily. How long had it been since someone showed affection so genuinely inside these walls? How long had it been since someone treated Liam not as the child of a millionaire, but simply as a child? He sat down beside her, careful not to wake the baby. For a moment, they both simply looked at Liam, their shared love for the tiny life weaving an invisible bond between them. Elena, Adrian said softly, why did you choose this job? You're young, talented, and you could have done anything. Yet you chose to be a nanny. Why? She hesitated. Then she whispered, because children are the only ones who don't judge. They love honestly. They trust easily. And I guess I needed that kind of love in my life. Adrian looked at her gently. He realized then that Elena carried her own wounds, quiet ones, hidden beneath her smile. He wanted to ask more, but before he could, Liam stirred in his sleep. Instinctively, Elena held him closer, calming him without a word. Adrian watched in awe. That moment sealed something in him. Something permanent. Something undeniable. He knew, right then, in the golden light of the evening sun, that this woman, this simple, humble nanny, had changed his life. Not because she was beautiful, though she was. Not because she worked hard, though she did. But because she had given his son something priceless, unconditional love. And in giving that love, she awakened his own heart, a heart he thought had died with his wife. Elena looked up again shyly. I promise I'll try not to fall asleep on the floor again. Adrian smiled, a genuine smile he hadn't felt in years. If it means Liam sleeps this peacefully, you can sleep anywhere you want. She blushed. He laughed softly. And in that gentle laughter, in the quiet room where the baby slept between them, something delicate bloomed, a connection that neither of them expected, but both felt deeply. As the sun set behind them, bathing the room in a soft amber glow, Adrian realized with absolute certainty, he had just fallen in love. Not with beauty. Not with status. But with the way she cared for his child, as if he were her own.